let's shift a little back to the drug war coverage ng Reuters and ikaw mismo. And I'd like to get a sense from you of how was it?
It all started in April 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Si Andrew Marshall was on assignment in Manila.
Good for
And Andrew and I were sent to Davao to do a profile story on Duterte. Kasi at that time, he was the rising star, no?
Yeah, of course.
Remember that in March, nag-number 1 na siya sa survey. So Reuters thought that this guy might become the next president. So why don't you write a profile story? We went there sa Davao to interview people and do a write-up, no, on Duterte. And nagulat kami, Kaloy, no? Kasi in Davao is really popular at may mga signs na in East, di ba? Lover. We interviewed a lot of people and we were convinced na Duterte might really become the next president. What we also learned about the drug war, what is happening in Davao since 1980s.
Yeah.
And we were able to interview Father Pix because he documented the drug war in Davao. And we also interviewed si Aling Alia sa Bangkerohan Market. Nahanap pa namin siya eh. So we interviewed her. Striking yung kanyang comment. Tinanong namin siya, sabi namin, ano tingin mo mangyayari pagka si Duterte naging presidente? Sabi niya, naku, wag naman sana. Kasi babaha ng dugo sa kalye na parang ilog. That quote ang very striking sa story namin. Katotoo, no? And during that time, nung nandun kami, may na-EJK.
Okay.
Davao. So pinuntahan namin, we did our own investigation. Outside Davao City siya eh. And we investigated at nakita namin yung kung paano talaga nangyayari. Ang mga tao takot magsalita.
Of course, yes.
Even the family ng namatayan, pinuntahan namin eh. Kaburol pa eh.
Mm-hmm.
Pati yung namatayan, takot. So sabi ni Andrew, talaga palang may climate of fear dito sa Davao. Sabi niya, paano kaya kung nangyari ito nationwide, no? So when we went back to Manila, the editors, no, nag-isip na kung gagawa ng story yung drug war. Kasi si Duterte was already talking about drug war. Eh. Hindi pa siya presidente, di ba?
Yeah.
When he was not even president, people started dying left and right, no? And by the time na he was president, the first 3 months, more than 1,000 were dead. So yung daily coverage namin ng drug war sa Manila, naisip ng mga editors na why don't we do a series?
Nagpo-progress na yung drug war.
Progress na. So they send back Andrew Marshall and Claire. Yeah. So dalawa sila, no? Actually hindi na silang dalawa eh. Ang dami. Even our editors, si Raju nandito, no? Claire pa isang editor from Singapore na nandito. And they send a special report editor, si Peter Herzberg. Si Peter is based in Sydney. Galing. He came from Bloomberg, actually.
Maswerte ka kasi you have such a good team. You have such deep pockets. You have very good resources.
Yes. Talagang gumastos yung Reuters. And it's really a team effort. No? Kasi pati mga photographer namin, import eh. Sila Damir nandito.
As a Filipino, seeing all of this violence against your own people, anong pinaka-ano mo dito? Pinaka naging tumama sa'yo?
Actually, hindi sa akin bago to eh.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Kasi
yes.
I already saw these killings under Marcos.
Okay.
Yung kaya lang under Marcos, it's called salvaging.
Nagsimula yan.
I even personally witnessed an incident, no? Birthday ng isang pulis sa Pasay, We were invited. And soon sa upo ka namin, may dalawang nakaupo na tahimik na hindi mainom-inom yung beer nila.
Okay.
And then at midnight, malis. Kasama yung mga polis. After a few minutes, tumawag yung polis sa radio, walkie-talkie. Sabi, apunta kayo rito sa Makati area. It's a dark alley, malapit sa Chino Roses Avenue.
Okay.
At may dalawang lalaki nakabulagta sa gitna ng kalye. Nung makita ko, tangina etik, kainuman natin
So,
sabi sa akin ng pulis, huwag ka na maingay. Sulit mo na lang. Mga karnaper yan. Nakita ko na noon. Yung drawing. Di ba? Drawing executed talaga. Yung drawing. So, sabi ko, kaya nung nagsimulang magpataya na at eto na laban, sabi ko, nakakita ko na ito noon.
wow.
Kaya lang, ito, mas largest scale. Saka mas may government sanction.
Sanction, malinaw kung
Malinaw. Kasi nung panahon ni Marcos, ginagawa lang ito ng pulis na hindi mo alam kung order ni Makoy. Di ba? Walang order eh.
Medyo shadowy pa yung mga gumagawa niya.
Oo. Parang for promotion purposes lang eh.
True.
Pero itong panahon ni Duterte, ito galing mismo sa presidente.
Based on the testimony sa Congress ngayon, talagang napaka-systematic tsaka
At may reward pa.
funded, oo.
Oo, may reward pa. Nung panahon ni Marcos, walang ganyang reward.
Did you, just on that, Mogs, did you even notice before while covering the drug war under Duterte na parang that could tell you na ba ba't para atat na atat itong mga pulis na pumatay, hindi kaya may kinikita itong mga to, yung reward system nila ganyan? Or did you even report about those allegations before?
Alam mo, si Boogie, yung naging source namin dito.
Yeah.
Siya yung naging door opener namin sa mga police sources namin.
Okay.
And he made a report on the drug war. Nung bigay na sa akin yung report, hindi pa nga ako naniwala sa kinikwento niya. Kasi ang kinikwento niya sa akin, Manny, itong drug war, hindi ito para linisin ng bayan natin ng droga. Ito linisin yung kalaban nilang kartel.
Wow.
So hindi ako naniwala sa kanya. May doubt kasi ako kasi yung part 2 ng report na is about communist insurgency.
Oh, okay. Oh. Yeah. Persisting.
Oo. Sabi ko, si Boogie, anti-com talaga. Ika ko, baka he was only trying to promote his own agenda.
Yes. Because of his background.
Pero yung mga kwento, yung mga rewards list, yung mga operation, yung tukhang, ganyan, totoo naman.
And looking back on it now, mukhang swak.
Swak. Oo. So, ayun nga, sabi nung editor namin, we cannot rely on his report completely kasi hearsay.
Yeah, you have to verify.
Kasi hindi siya yung primary source. Kinuwento lang sa kanya.
Yeah.
He was reporting based on what his operatives, former subordinates told him. Kasi retired na siya, no?
But those were really good leads na binigay niya.
Those were really good leads. And based on his report, we did a special report in April 2017. Rewards list. Ito yung one of my few bylines sa special report. Kasi we did a total of 10 special reports. So, ito, yung isang byline ko pa kay Kian de los Santos.
Oh yeah, that one. That was really good. May pa kayo, video pa kayo, and then you had it all mapped out.
Correct. So, sabi ng editor namin, why don't we force this retired general to bring us to his sources?
Okay.
Nilagawan namin si Boogie. Ilang beses namin kinausap sa kumbento ng Ateneo. Gabi-gabi. Si Boogie at that time, medyo reluctant. Sabi niya, baka masunog yung mga sources na.
Of course.
But we made a promise na hindi, we will not reveal. Sabi namin, hindi ka namin papangalanan at hindi namin tatanong pangalan. Baka nakaharap namin. So finally, he set a meeting sa Green Hills, sa isang restaurant sa Green Hills. dinala niya yung dalawang police captain
Mhm.
na prison commander sa Metro Manila para magkwento sa amin ang alam nila. So yun, marami kaming nakuwang first-hand information dito sa mga prison commanders. Unang-una, walang vigilante.
Yes. Yes.
Oo. Kasi yung riding in tandem, police din.
Yes din. Yes.
Oo. To prove na police din, may pinakita sa aming text message yung kapitan. Sabi niya, ito text message sa akin nung R2, yung intelligence. Sabi nung R2 sa kanya, pwede ba on this day, on this hour, on this place, itong street corner, huwag kayong maglagyan ng police patrol car kasi gabi-gabi nandyan
Okay.
nagbabantay kayo. Kasi dyan dadaan yung aming riding in tandem, baka maka-encounter nyo. So, select namin yung records. May incident na doon
True enough.
sa ganung lugar. On that day, on that hour. So,
Okay.
confirm namin. Tapos, yung mga nagpapatay, stage, sabi niya. Minsan nga, tumatayo, di ba? Yung mga hindi napuruhan. Oo. So, sabi niya, nag-meeting kami dyan sa Krame. Natiruan kami ng soko na pagka nagkabarilan, yung baril, hindi hawak.
Okay.
Sila po niyan.
Yeah.
So, ilagay nyo a few meters away.
Para hindi masyadong halata.
Hindi masyadong halata. Oo. Tapos, sabi niya, dapat siguraduhin yung patay para pag pinuntahan namin, hindi tumatayo. So, based on that, dinadala na sa ospital ng mga polis yung nabaril nila. At kung buhay pa, tinutuluyan, binabaril ng malapitan. In one of our special series, ang sabi namin, dead on arrival.
Okay.
Kasi walang nabubuhay. Dead on arrival. Ang sinasabi ng doktor doon sa report namin na parang walang encounter.
Okay.
Kasi yung karamihan ng victims na nakita nila, shot at close range. Paano masabi shot at close range? Kasi may tattooing sa head, sa body. Sabi niya, magkakaroon lang ng gunpowder marks yan sa sugat nila if they were shot ng malapitan.
Yes.
Kasi kung encounter yan, a few meters away, wala ka makikitang tattoo.
Pagbuga ng baril.
Oo, ng buga ng baril. So, talagang malapitan yan. Yan, sabi nila. And then, kasama sa report namin, yung ibang mga napatay, ang death certificate, natural causes.
Oo.
Gunshot wounds. Oo.
Pneumonia.
Oo. Meron pa nga stab wounds eh.
Oo. Pero
ang baril. Oo. So, talagang it shows na dinodrawing.
So, systematic yung pagpatay, systematic yung cover-up.
Oo, yung cover-up. Pati police, pati sa autopsy report, pati sa doktor,